Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Man, given what we know about Vince McMahon, the pro wrestling landscape nowadays with AEW, New Japan, etc., and the state that these wrestlers were probably in when they were leaving, these might be some of the most unlucky bastards in history. I mean, not even sort of really to any degree, but come on, man. It's like being a free agent pro wrestler in 2019 is the shit. It's the biggest deal ever, and here's 10 names that were recently but didn't get to take full advantage of it because they left too damn early. Wait, was that the intro? I said here are 10, and here's 10 wrestlers who were recently released and what they're up to now. Number 10, Neville. Probably the biggest name on this list, in all honesty, and ironically, someone who you probably both do and don't know what they're doing right now. If you're like me, prior to researching this, you knew Neville as the former Adrian who flew high, wore capes, and hit the red arrow in WWE. But never too many red arrows because we call that a push, and NXT guys weren't allowed those until Ricochet. He soon became the Cruiserweight division's most likely to be cast as a Hobbit and nabbed himself the top title before losing it to an Enzo, leaving the company and then not showing up in AEW because reasons. Booking complications left our favorite high flyer where he's at now, atop Dragon Gate's mountain as our Open the Dream Gate champion. You can literally hear WWE exclusive fans now everywhere saying, "Whoa, more words." Number 9, Rich Swann. You remember him? The dude who danced a lot, had like a one-off cruiserweight title run, fucked Sasha Banks, I think, then kind of beat his wife and then dipped. Well, that got dark. Well, Rich Swann did, in fact, have some domestic issues with his partner and did end up leading to his release, but all that really did was take an underutilized talent and threw him back into the bigger, broader waters with newfound top-tier experience, so basically, in punishing this dude, WWE helped remake this dude, especially considering in this very month, Swann defended his X Division Impact Championship against the former John Morrison at Slammiversary, which I think is their second biggest event of the year. That's like their SummerSlam, right? Or maybe it's their top. I still really don't know that much about TNA. I mean, it's not even called TNA, and I still call it TNA. That should tell you where I'm at on TNA.
Rich Swann! A second! God, Elgin on the top of his head! Oh!
Number 8, Rosa Mendes. It's almost impossible still to this day that Rosa Mendes was randomly found in the 2006 Diva Search and was still being paid money annually by the WWE over a decade later. Seriously, this is baffling information if you understand what money means. Despite being the epitome of who throughout the 11 years with the company, she stayed with the brand all the way until her retirement due to maternity leave. And then last year came out of retirement anyways, just to tag team alongside Adam Rose in Maryland, I guess.
Now Tyson Kidd again, donning the headphones. This match lost his interest pretty quick.
Number 7, Wickett, along with Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, and surely countless others who released themselves from the scope of WWE for a while after Crown Jewel happened because wow, it's still not good. I generally don't care too much about shit like this, but when you're the WWE and you're already making stupid numbers of money and then you sign your blood money deal with Saudi Arabia, essentially a deal with the devil where it's completely blatant what you're doing, it becomes harder and harder to ignore, especially the more you just ignore the backlash. Where it crosses the line for me personally is when the shittiness blended on screen and started actually impacting the product. I mean, not just Goldberg versus Undertaker, the one before it. For fuck's sake, they ruined the greatest retirement in wrestling history. I was bound to make this list.
Dear Lord, may your loving hand guide Homer to the mattress square and true.
Number 6, Nick Miller. Former TM61 member Nick Miller is probably my favorite dude on this list, and I honestly don't know a single one of his matches. That team was always just under the cusp of takeovers, which is pretty much exclusively what I watch out of NXT, so I never actually saw this dude wrestle. I've never seen a match of his, yet the dude asked for his release at the bold age of 33 to take time with his family. I'd love this on its own, honestly, but I've spoken about it before, and I incorrectly referred to it as his retirement when, in reality, I'm just a fucking idiot. In actuality, it kind of looks like Nick just didn't like his standing in WWE, played them like a fiddle with some family bullshit, and then just 2 months later landed himself a New Japan contract. I mean, that ending is all total speculation, but seriously, within 2 months of leaving to, quote, spend time with family, he's a part of the New Japan Cup. Yeah, that seems sketchy to me.
Miller and Thorne have traveled around the globe to prove that they are supreme when it comes to the tag team division. This could be a massive launching pad for their careers.
Number 5, Emma. Remember in 2014 when Emma forgot to pay for an iPad case and it got like super blown out of proportion? She was mistakenly arrested and WWE immediately released her for it? Yeah, you should have just stayed out, because while Emma would eventually get to set the stage for the upcoming NXT Women's Division alongside Paige, that's pretty much all she ever did. She's the less memorable member of a rivalry that paved the way for a more memorable rivalry in developmental. That's gotta be a rough high spot in any career. Well, after loads of bad shticks on the main roster, literally like half a dozen, Emma finally made her way out of the company in late 2017, and after a little bit of time in Ring of Honor, she's got her in-ring return planned for the end of this month. Hopefully, her twin Emelina doesn't show up though, because I hear that she doesn't do much.
And Miss Bliss, I'm ready to take my rightful place at the top of the Raw Women's Division.
Number 4, James Ellsworth. All right. James Ellsworth. I feel like I haven't actually had a proper spoken piece on James since all this drama came out around him last year, so is Els still worth it? I'm typically not one to jump into a bandwagon, especially when it's shit in this toxic ass social media age. Bullshit spreads just as fast, if not faster, than the facts do, so I tend to take most media with a grain of salt. But when the 16-year-old who claimed she had nudes received from James Ellsworth and was pretty much able to back it up, yeah, that's how you kill a career in one sentence.
No! He got it! Whoa!
Number 3, Austin Aries. Double A's WWE resume reads so stunningly disappointing that it's honestly a wonder how he even ended up in this company to begin with. It did start out promising though. Getting sent to NXT despite being a huge star already outside of WWE isn't that big of a deal when you're in NXT, the best company on the planet. But Aries' debut match took place literally right before Shinsuke Nakamura's debut match, and that is a kick to the balls. That is so unfair. He then lost an NXT title opportunity to Shinsuke at the next takeover before turning heel. This could have been great. Aries was set for a fairly big heel run throughout NXT according to Triple H, but he got injured, and his uselessness on the sidelines gave H the bright idea to throw Aries on 205 Live, his other pet project, as a commentator, aka the beginning of the end. His pay-per-view debut was actually on commentary for the Cruiserweight Triple Threat title match at Roadblock End of the Line at the tail end of 2016, the same pay-per-view that Neville would return at and turn heel on Rich Swann at for the rest of his time within WWE, chalk it up to either commentating or eventually feuding with Neville, losing to him at WrestleMania and the following 2 pay-per-views before dropping out of the company. Wow. Reading through that was like injecting an entire wasted year into my veins.
It's not so much of a question, it's more of a statement.
Oh! Aries just decked the king!
Number 2, Big Cass. And number 1, Enzo Amore. Of course course. How couldn't I pair these two together? Between the 4'6" Phoenix reppin' pseudo rapper and his 7-foot tall dad-botted bodyguard, this pair made for one of the most entertaining duos in all of WWE, especially in that little stretch from the debut until the brand split era. Oh, perfection. While eventually Enzo's verbal chops watered down into mostly catchphrases and Big Cass's bigness wasn't making up for him being green as goose shit despite still carrying that tag team, these two were huge megastars at one point. I mean, they teamed alongside John Cena against the Club when the Club were the heels of WWE. Then the reactions started going a little bit down and slowly kept going down further, and then their momentum kind of wore off, and eventually everything that made them distinct kind of wore off. We call that falling into the WWE system, and once you're just like any other guy, wow, their behavior behind the scenes really fucked them over. I mean, between Cass's drinking and Enzo being Enzo, these guys didn't stand a chance holding onto those contracts. But after some time for personal recovery and intense business strategy, respectively, the pair are back together. They are back in Ring of Honor, and hey, Big Cass had a match with fucking Jon Moxley of all people on the indies with Enzo on his side, so I mean, that wasn't really going anywhere. That's just a cool fact. And those are 10 wrestlers who recently released and what they're doing now. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments down below. If you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and notifications, ring that bell.